Hey kiddos, welcome to this week's homework where we are taking a look at perimeter. As a reminder, perimeter is looking at the outside shape below. We also have the reminder that perimeter means plus. So on the perimeter of a shape, we're going to plus or add the measurements around. We would use perimeter for things such as fencing, how much wall we need to paint, hanging Christmas lights outside. We're looking at just the outside of the shape. So for our first one, we are trying to determine or solve the perimeter of each shape. So what we're going to do for this one is we are going to plus them. We're going to add all four measurements together. So if I add 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6, I end up with 30. Remember our label, 30 inches. If I were to walk around the entire outside of the shape, it would be 30 inches. For this next one, I have to add 19 plus 33 plus 19 plus 33. When I do that, I end up, 19 plus 33 plus 50 plus 33. Be careful, our bottom measure is different. When I add these four measurements together, I end up with 135. 135 what? Labels are important. Centimeters. Coming down here, I have a square. The thing I know about squares is that all four sides need to be the same measurement. So I'm adding 14 by itself 4 times. That gives me 56 kilometers. Over here, I have two 7-meter sides and I have two 2-meter sides. So 2 plus 7 plus 2 plus 7 gives me 18 meters. Coming down here, again, I have two measures that are the same. So just like that previous one. And then I have a 10 and a 5. When I add these together, I get 31 yards. Again, 10 plus 8 plus 5 plus 8 gives me 31 yards. Over here, I have two matching measures. I have two 20-millimeter sides and I have two 25-millimeter sides. When I do 20 plus 25 plus 20 plus 25, I get 90 millimeters. Any questions on this page, bring them with you to class. All right, love bugs, we are continuing to find the perimeter of our different polygons. You'll notice that these shapes are a little bit more complex, but we're still doing the same thing. We have to add all of our measures. So here I have 7 centimeters, 2 centimeters. Don't forget both of them. 7 on the bottom and 2 and 2. So when I add those all together, I should get 22 centimeters. So I have 14 plus 4 plus 4 if I'm condensing them. Over here, I have two 9-inch pieces and I have four 4-inch pieces. So I'm going to go 9 plus 9 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, add them all together. I get 34 inches. Coming down here, 13 plus 6 plus 6 plus 13 plus 6 plus 6. This is going to give us 50 yards. Make sure you're adding up all your pieces. If it helps, check them off as you go. You can condense them. So I can say this is a 12 and this is a 12, and I can put them piece and piece together. Over here, I have 8 plus 3 plus 3, or again, I can condense that to 6. I have an 8 and a 4. Add them all together, I get 26 kilometers. Down here, I have a shape that has all of the same measurements. So that means I'm going to add 16 to itself. For every side, this is a 5-sided pentagon, we have 80 feet in total. Then over here, again, all of my sides match. I could use multiplication for this one if I wanted. If I wanted to count how many 5s I have, there are 6, and multiply 5 times 6, I would get 30, or I can add them individually. Either way, 30 meters is our answer. Any questions on these, love bugs? Bring them with you to class. All right, sweet faces. This time we have to find the missing side length, assuming that each side is the same. So we're working backwards. I gave you the perimeter. I'm looking for the side. So we need to do a little bit of detective work. First thing I notice is I have a square. When I have a square, I know that all four sides are the same. So 44 feet, when I want to break it down to my individual measurements, I could divide that by 4 because when I total them all together, all four sides equal 44. If I do that division, I get 11. So each of these is 11 feet. I could also cut this in half, get 22 and cut it in half again. I can use guess and check. I can use multiplication and say 4 times what missing number gives me 44 feet. Use the strategy that works best for you and your brain. So here we have a total of 36. There are 6 sides. So I need to think 6 times what gives me 36, or 36 divided by 6, what is my answer? 6 times 6 is 36, which means my missing side is 6 inches. Coming down here, I have a triangle. Triangle has 3 sides. I need it to total 12. 3 times what gives me 12? 3 times 4. Each side is 4 millimeters. Again, if I prefer division, 12 divided by 3 equals what? Or what number added to itself 3 times would give me 12? Over here, a 5-sided shape. I need a total of 45. 5 times 9 is 45, so each of these is 9 centimeters. 36 kilometers on a 4-sided shape. 4 times what equals 36? 4 times 9 equals 36. Last one on this page. I have an 8-sided shape. A total 24 yards. 8 times 3 is 24, so each side is 3 yards. Any questions on these, kiddos? Bring them with you to class. The further we get, the more complex our shapes get, but there's nothing you can't handle. So I have to add all of my sides. When I add up 25 plus 4 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 4 plus 25 plus 20, big numbers, but you can do it. 114 feet in total. When I add all of my sides, make sure you're taking your time. Don't miss any. This is going to give me 70 centimeters in total. Coming down here, again, measuring around the outside, making sure I get all of my numbers. We have the one hiding down there. I have 170 inches. Over here, when I do all of my outside measurements, I add them together, I get 149 meters. Down here, I was a little bit tricky, because we could actually do 2 measurements for this one. We can measure our outside, okay? And when we measure that, each side is 33. Altogether, it's 132 feet, or I'm sorry, yards. But we could also measure our inside shape, where each one of those is 19. The inside is 76 yards. And if you subtracted them, you could figure out exactly how much is shaded, which is 56 yards shaded. If you just did the outside, that is absolutely fine. This is a stretchy thinking question to see what you would do. But if you did the outside and got 132 yards, I love that. If you did the inside and got the 76 yards, I love that. If you got here, that is rock star math. That was really sticky, icky, tricky. All right, love bugs. And the last one kind of gave me castle vibes. Looked like a castle to me. This is 120 kilometers. Any questions on the icky, sticky, stretchy page 4? Bring them with you to class. All right, love bugs, looking at some word problems. Remember, with word problems, we're asking, what are they asking me to do? What numbers are they giving me to use? And I gave you a tip. It might be helpful to draw a model if you're unsure. So Melissa wants to help her dad fence in the backyard for their 2 dogs if their backyard is 25 feet long and 20 feet wide. What would the total be? So if I sketch this out, I have 2 25s and I have 2 20s. 25 and 25 is 50, 50 and 40 is 90 feet in total. A square, or 4-sided, has a perimeter of 24 yards. What is each side? 4 times what gives me 24? 4 times 6. So each of these sides would be 6 yards. 6 yards. Allison wants to plant a garden. She needs to cut up chicken wire to place around it. The perimeter is 74 feet and the width is 15. I want to know how much, I'm sorry, I didn't label the width, I labeled the length. Let me fix that. My picture needs to match what I'm saying. There we go. Our width is 15 feet, and I need to decide how long the length pieces will be. So these are missing. This one was a little tricky. So what we needed to do was we know that we have 30 feet from the two width ends. So if I take away the 30, that means I'm left with 44. 44 feet that need to be claimed. If I cut that in half for my two sides, I got 22 feet and 22 feet. Again, one of those icky, sticky, tricky, stretchy questions. If you had trouble, that is okay. We have to see what we can do by stretching, right? If you show what you know and you grow, we can stretch. The perimeter of a rectangle is 24 inches. If the width is 4, how long is it? So similar in style to the last one. If the two sides equal 8 in total, 4 plus 4 is 8, and I subtract, I'm left with 16. I have to split it because I have two sides, so I have 8 and 8. 8 inches is my answer. Two more. Mrs. Green is walking around a rectangle track at the gym. If the length is 75 feet and the width is 50 feet, here's the tricky part. How far did she walk if she went around it twice? So we need to first figure out what the perimeter is, and then we need to double it. So if I do 75 and 75, it's 150. And if I add 100 to that, I get 250. So the perimeter is 250. If she did it twice, twice would be 500 feet. If you got here, that is fantastic. If you got the stretch and you did it twice, that is also fantastic. All right, love bugs, last one. An equilateral triangle, equal sides. An equilateral triangle has a side length of 9 meters. What is its perimeter? If it's equilateral, all of my sides are equal. So that means 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, 27 meters is my perimeter. Any questions about these, kiddos? Bring them with you to class. Have a good weekend, mathletes.